Hello everyone! So all of you seem to really like my last tutorial I did on how I draw dragons, but I've also gotten a lot of requests to do full bodies of dragons, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. I hope you like it. Okay, first of all, when I draw dragons, I usually tend to make the different tribes have different body shapes, somewhat, just so that it's easier to help tell them apart. And so in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to do three different kinds of dragon body types. Um, why did I think this was a good idea to record my voice? This is not good. Okay, anyways, I'm not a professional recorder. I'm just recording this on my tablet because I don't have anything better, so sorry for the low quality. But anyways, so let's just get started. Okay, so what I always do first is I like to draw the head first because it helps. It just helps me know where the dragon is going to be, like where he's looking, where he's going to be in the scene, basically. So I draw the head first, and just a disclaimer here: I'm not an art teacher, and I know that a lot of classes, especially even ones that I've taken, tell you to basically plan out all the basic shapes of the body without going into huge amounts of detail. And while I try to do that a little bit, my default is always just kind of to I don't really know how to describe it, just kind of like build the body as I go along, which might not be the correct way, but this tutorial is not the correct way to draw dragons. It's just how I do it for any of those of you who are curious. So I draw the head first. Yeah, I don't have a script for this video, so this is just kind of hang out with me and see how awkward I am. So I draw the little scales that I put on the Nightwing's head, give him some spikes, and then we're gonna have him standing up straight like this. So for Nightwings, I tend to make all of the proportions somewhat like, I don't know what the correct word would be, like predictable or typical of what you might imagine when you think of just a medieval dragon or something like that. So, because I don't know, I just see them as kind of the default. So I do this like weird slug shape. I draw the body and then I draw the legs afterwards. So he's got his curved neck, and then this is like the chest, and where probably all the organs are. I don't I don't know dragon anatomy. And then I build the legs off of here, this area, and I tend to have the front legs and the wings coming off of kind of the same area. So that's going to be the wings up there, and down here we're going to have the legs, and I do this little curved line. And if any of you guys have any other tips of how you like to draw dragons or certain things that you find useful, please feel free to share them in the comments, because that would be cool. I don't think of myself, I'm not particularly good at anatomy and certain poses for dragons, which I'm trying to work on a lot more. So if any of you have any tips for that, that would be helpful. But yeah, so just do their front legs like that. And then we have the wings, which are coming off of this same area. And I have the wings go back this way and then point back up towards the head a little bit. And then curve around and go that way. And then I usually like to have them folding over so that they're not like that they're not extended like that all the time, because I feel like that would be kind of difficult for the dragons to have them up like that all the time. It would be, I don't know, it would be like raising your arms in the air constantly. So I just kind of like to have them folded over a little bit to give them a little bit more of a relaxed look. And then, yeah. I don't tend to do, for my dragons, this could be just me being lazy, but a lot of people do tend to do the wings like this, where they show each individual bone, I guess, of the wings, and then they'll put the skin in between them, and then they'll make this color right here the color of the main dragon body, and then they'll have this be the secondary dragon color. So for instance, if this was a Skywing wing, this part might be red, and then the in-between could be yellow or orange or whatever other color the dragon is. For my wings, I kind of took the whole idea of Nightwings having stars on only one side of the wings and then dark on the other side, and I kind of attributed that to all of the dragon tribes. So what I do is I have the top part of the wing, the side that's not underneath, I have that be the color of the main dragon, and then I have this underneath part be a different color. So basically you can only see the secondary color if the dragon is flying, if you're below the dragon when it's flying. I don't really know why I do this, I just do. And then I don't really draw all the individual bones of the wing. I will sometimes put a little bit of a line there just so that you can see that there is something, but I don't color them in usually. That's just a thing that I do. And then we'll draw the other wing back here. Then we'll put in the back leg, which is usually somewhere around here. To be honest, this might not be the best drawing because I have my tablet set up in a weird way where I'm like looking at the paper from a weird angle, so I'm not completely sure if this looks good, but you get the general idea. So my back leg I do tend to have at a little bit more of an angle than this one. I kind of model my dragons after, like, honestly, they're kind of, the anatomy is kind of similar to that of a dog. So if you look at pictures of dogs, particularly like greyhounds and stuff, that's kind of where I get this kind of arched and then angled shape right there. I just think it looks pretty good to me. And we have the back leg, which is a little bit more in front of this one than these two. You can see how these are more far apart than these two, which kind of gives the illusion of the dragon maybe like its first 2 feet are right here, and then its back 2 legs are more kind of like that, so it's standing in almost a triangle shape. And then I have the tail. We're not gonna have enough room for it all on this paper, but the tail just follows the line of the body, except it gets thinner and thinner as it goes back. We'll finish off the wings. And then you can add all your little scale details. I take this little row of scales, and then I usually bring it down into this one to create some patterns on this leg. Do the same on this one. This is a very rough sketch. And basically that's a Nightwing. So this is like my basic kind of blueprint of a dragon. And then for the other 2 types of dragon tribe that we're going to do today, they're just kind of going to be 2 different extensions or versions of this kind of basic body shape. So, turn the page. So for dragons, I usually kind of split them up into 4 different categories. Well, maybe 3. So we have the Nightwings, which are kind of the basic body shape of a dragon, kind of what you'd imagine your kind of default that you might go to. And then I have the Sandwings and Skywings, which are another little group. I tend to draw their bodies very similarly, and what you might think of these ones is they're a little bit more angular and kind of tall. I draw them as taller, more angular versions of Nightwings, so we could use shapes to represent these. If a Nightwing is a circle, a Sandwing might be kind of like a long oval, maybe more of a triangle because they're more angular. And then we have Mudwings and Seawings. I draw these guys pretty similarly too, because they're both lower to the ground. They have shorter legs. They have thicker tails and smaller wings, so I kind of tend to draw them similarly. Their shape might be more of like a flattened oval, like this, or like an egg shape. And then the 4th group is, obviously we have Rainwings and we have Icewings, and so for Icewings I kind of put them between these 2 groups. And then for Rainwings, basically what I do is Rainwings are sort of a part of this group, but smaller. Sorry. They're just smaller dragons in general, and I give them more dainty features, smaller wings, thinner snouts, that kind of thing. So these are my basic shapes that I do for dragons. So I'm going to show you how to do this kind and then also this kind. So we're going to draw a Sandwing because I am a Sandwing and I'm probably the best at drawing them. I give them longer noses, and then for Sandwings I make the horns kind of go down like this a little bit, kind of a downward curve. Oh, also, I had an idea for another tutorial. If you guys might be interested in seeing that, let me know in the comments. But I was thinking maybe I could do sort of a tutorial, sort of just like a basic guide for character design and how to design your characters uniquely. So I might be touching over things like color schemes and unique features you can give characters, that kind of thing. So let me know if you guys would be interested in that. That would be a fun one to make. It might take a while though. Character design is something that I really like and I like exploring, so that could be a fun video for me to make. So yeah, I'm gonna give my Sandwing my frills that I do. And then I give them a little bit of a thinner and longer neck than the Nightwings. So Yeah, basically what you want to think about with this body type is just to kind of take everything and then exaggerate it a little bit longer and a little bit pointier than you might normally. So we're gonna have like their torso is a little bit longer. We're gonna have the tail be a lot thinner. And then for the legs, thinner legs, longer. For sandwings, I tend to think about creatures that live in the sand, which could be things like scorpions and not many things do live in the sand, but yeah, kind of give them like long, almost insect-like features. And then we're gonna have the wings come out of the same place as the legs, like before. And then I do give sandwings pretty large wings so that I mean, their kingdom is very big, so big wings would help them fly across huge expanses of deserts more easily. And then their hind legs. Then for sandwings, I do diamond shape scales. Just kind of playing into that angle thing that I like to do with them, make them more triangular. Thinner tails, and then add your little frills or whatever you like to do for the sandwings. I've seen a lot of people saying that they like the way I do frills, all kind of, I don't know, like frilly, like they almost look like fish fins or something. And I didn't know that that was like different than normal until I started looking at some other people's Wings of Fire art, and apparently a lot of people seem to interpret that thing on the sandwing's back as like some sort of fin, or you know, something like maybe like this more, where it's just kind of one thing and then it has some like little dents in it, you know, that kind of thing, like on top of their head. But I don't know why. Maybe I looked at the sandwing art in the books differently than most people, but I've always kind of thought that it was more of a frill. But whatever you want to do, I think both designs look pretty cool. So basically, whatever you want for that. And then this is our finished sandwing. If you wanted to have their tail come up, you could do it like that. Just for the sandwings, I usually do really long tails that get really thin towards the end, almost like whips, and that's kind of similar to Icewing tails, how they're described in the books, where they get really thin at the end and then they have all those spikes. So there's our sandwing, And next we will do the Mudwings and the Sea Wings shape. So yeah. Okay, so for Mudwings and Sea Wings, basically what you want to do is make them shorter and rounder than other dragons. They both have thick tails. The Sea Wings are use theirs for swimming, so it's probably going to be thicker than the Mudwings. I do both of their horns the same way, kind of like, almost like Rainwing or Sandwing horns, but shorter. And then I think we're going to do a Mudwing for this one. Mudwings don't get enough love, you guys. I've seen people, I feel like the default OCs for people to make are kind of Nightwings and Icewings, which I think is interesting, and obviously that's not everyone, because everyone has so many unique OCs, but Mudwings are definitely the least used, and I will say that I'm guilty of this as well. I only have about 4 or 5 Mudwing OCs, but I do like Mudwings. I think that their colors are very cool, and I think a lot of people do tend to use the same colors for Mudwings. They always use the oranges and the browns, kind of similar to Clay from the book series. But there's so many different colors that you guys could use with Mudwings. I mean, there's warm grays. That would look really cool. Dark reds. You could kind of do mossy green might work. Just basically any color you might find in a swamp. You could probably even find a way to make like grass green work, because if you think about their habitat, they have a lot of like muddy plains, that kind of thing, where you can imagine all like the light green grass that would be growing there. So basically more Mudwings is what I'm saying. So yeah, so for the legs on this one, we're gonna make them a lot shorter than a lot of other dragons, because they do they spend a lot of times in swamps and just kind of relaxing there. They also don't tend to need to fly as much. Their kingdom is very small, so they're going to have shorter and smaller wings. I feel like these legs might be a little bit too short. Maybe just a little bit longer. There we go. That looks good. And then the back legs. And then for sea wings, basically the only difference I would make is you could probably make them a little bit taller, and their tails are going to be thicker, but I basically tend to do them the same. Keep both of their wings small, because the sea wings need to not be dragged down by their wings when they swim, but be able to use them as paddles instead to help propel them forward. And then obviously there's other differences, like in the bioluminescent scales and the webbing on their talons. But other than that, I do tend to make them basically the same, so there we go. There's our Mudwing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know if you want me to do a tutorial on character design. It would be a lot of work, but I think that might be a fun video that I could do. Yeah, thanks for watching, you guys. Bye.